to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy to be here on a Friday. Getting ready for the weekend. Weather's finally going to get a little nicer around here. We're all very happy about that. Some resolution and clarity in the Iran war. Is the U.S. going to get involved? Is the U.S. not going to get involved? A couple of news stories coming out. A lot of the comments and rumors, and if you want to call them leaks and statements, are starting to line up with each other in the media, which is good. Things are starting to coalesce around the idea of the truth and the real story, and so we're going to give you that. Obviously, again, with some of the folks online who have lit their credibility on fire, you didn't have to do it. You chose to do it. Alex Jones is apparently among them, taking, I guess, a victory lap that he got a leak that wound up being untrue before the Wall Street Journal. I don't know. Kind of crazy. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? I feel like, the reason why a lot of people left the left-wing media is because their credibility went in the tank, and then a lot of people had respect for also, saw their credibility go in the tank as well. So we will get to that. We got a huge win out of California. Donald Trump, as we predicted here, has just about won his appeal against Gavin Newsom's ridiculous order and lawsuit that would return control of the National Guard to Gavin Newsom. When I say almost won, it's just about a foregone conclusion. It sounds like the ruling is going to be just a formality, so we will get to that, but it is a massive win. Trump wins again. Gavin Newsom loses again. We'll dunk on him. We will give you some updates on the Middle East. I've got an update on the illegal immigrant situation here in the United States, and a little fun with the Democrat Party. Before we get to all that, I want to start off with a very special birthday shout-out for the maker of mugs, our good friend Barb Naylor. We love you, Barb, right? Barb Naylor is a tremendous, she is 54 years young and, is doing very well, highly respected. Wonderful patriot. We need more people like Barb, right? She does a tremendous job. So everybody say happy birthday to Barb Naylor in our chat. One of the LFA faithful. Just an awesome girl. We've gotten to know her, right? We love Barb. She's the embroiderer in chief, right? Does a great job with the hats. Does a great job, obviously, with the mugs on the LFA TV store, which we'll show you in a little bit. So happy birthday to Barb. Also want to talk to you about OFP Farms, ladies and gentlemen. OFPFarms.com. Promo code Sean, 15% off month of June. Big deals happening over at OFP Farms. We love them. Denise and Corey. They are a family-owned and operated goat farm. They are a patriotic, America First, God-fearing company. We love OFP Farms. I want to tell you about their large collection of goat milk products like the soaps, the lotions, and the lip balms. This soap will clean you like no other soap has ever cleaned you before. We love the soap. It's the outlaw soap. You will be smelling like a felon. We love when you're smelling like a felon. It's going to be tremendous. So you look at this. You've got the soap. My favorite product from OP Farms is the lip balm. I call it the chapstick killer, the crapstick killer. If you still use crapstick, take a look at the label, and you will see in very, very small letters, because they're ashamed to admit it, that they're owned by Pfizer. We don't like Pfizer, right? This, Goat Kisses Lip Balm, not owned by Pfizer, produced by OFP Farms. Denise and Corey, you see in the chat all the time. Not only are their goat milk products and lip balms top-notch, but they also carry a selection of magnesium products that can aid in pain relief and general well-being. OFP Farms can proudly boast Thousands of 5-star reviews from people like you, the OFP family, the LFA family, the Ungovernables, McGroin Nation. Thousands of 5-star reviews in their wide variety of products. If I can give more than 5 stars, I would. So go ahead, slather on the goat milk goodness and everything they have to offer at OFP Farms. It's OFPFarms.com. Use the promo code Sean, SHAWN. OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean, SHAWN. Again, that is OFPFarms.com. Promo code Sean, SHAWN, right there on your screen for 15% off. OFPFarms.com. Promo code Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. All right. Quick sip of the tea. We will be doing calls second half of the show at 631-527-4545. So come up with something to say if you agree, if you disagree, if you've got opinions on the Israel-Iran war, if you've got opinions on the National Guard, or if you've got opinions or just want to say hello, you give us a call at 631-527-4545 in the second half of the show after we go ahead and announce that here. Don't call before, or we're going to have a lot of problems, right? Okay. Listen, what we've seen on social media, and one of these things that I want to point out before we really get into this National Guard situation is, and our good friend Walter Kurt, he wrote an article about this, and he refers to Candace Owens as Candy, right? To kind of mock her whole thing. But I always say it's cool that he does that because candy's not good for you, right? No. You eat too much candy, it's bad for you.
Candy makes you fat.
Candy is not good for you, and Candace Owens is not good for you either. A senior Iranian official now has said to Reuters that Iran is ready to discuss limitations on its uranium enrichment. I know people are like, nope, limitations, that's not enough. You have to understand negotiations. It's a starting point. Okay? You had a bunch of people who yesterday decided they were going to take victory laps because they think they changed Donald Trump's mind on the war. That's not what happened. Donald Trump's mind, he never wavered. He has been calm. He has been cool. He has been collected, and he has been playing his cards very close to the vest. You can't believe every leak that Candace Owens or Alex Jones or Owen Schroyer or Myron Gaines or any of these, you can't believe every leak that these people go out there and report on. They have an agenda. I said this from last week. These people have an agenda. Candace Owens has an agenda. What is her agenda? Her agenda is whatever is good for Candace Owens. Alex Jones said,
yep, you have this, Israel's going to get us into a war. Donald Trump, he looks like George W. Bush.
He's got an agenda. What is his agenda? Whatever is best for Alex Jones. And in this case, what is good for their agenda? What makes them look good? If the United States enters a war, it makes them look good. That's the truth. You say, what? I thought they were anti-war. No, they're not. They are pro-war. But they're only pro-war when it makes them look good. In this case, if the United States went into a long-lasting war in the Middle East, they will pretend, they will start swearing, they will start yelling and screaming about how unhappy they are, but in the back of their mind, and after they're done telling you how unhappy they are, what are they going to say? I told you so. You should have listened to me. And they're going to use it as a means of boosting their credibility. These people have a narrative to push, and the sooner you see that they are no better than Lindsey Graham, no better than, in a way, Fox News has been recently saying, well, the Trump administration may have to use tactical nukes. How about shut up and stop pushing this conflict to the brink of something that it shouldn't be pushed to? They have an agenda. The sooner you see this, the sooner you will realize that those people cannot be trusted going forward. All right, we're going to talk to you about more of that in a minute, in a little bit, because what I've been telling you about certain media outlets and the leaks and the information that they've been getting, I think is going to be confirmed today by what we're going to talk about. That there are strategic leaks being given to certain media outlets, and now you're starting to see the message that is being leaked to those outlets coalesce and kind of corroborate the leaks and confirm what is the goal of those leaks based off of also what the administration is saying. Before we get to that, we're going to start with the National Guard because the National Guard stuff is hilarious, so we're going to dunk on Gavin Newsom first. I want to tell you all about Silent. You know, things are looking uncertain in the world right now. Not just as, there are a bunch of war breaking out and potential larger escalations, although I don't think we're going to see the worst case scenario over in Iran between them and Israel. You never know what's going to happen. You got summer blackout season approaching. It's going to get real hot here in Tennessee over the course of the next 5 days, over 90 degrees. So it's going to get real hot. A lot of people are going to be running their air conditioner. Not just going to be here in Tennessee. It's going to be out there in other states as well. It's going to be real hot. You have tensions rising all over the world. Look, you don't want to be caught with your pants down in a situation where you lose your data, you lose your identity, you lose your privacy. That's why I want to talk to you about Silent, okay? Between the government, big tech, corporate America, and criminals, your privacy is compromised 24/7. There is no other option. You have to protect yourself, right? You've got to protect yourself, and that starts with Silent. Silent's Faraday products block all incoming and outgoing signals so that your devices are invisible and safe from the outside world. From their backpacks, their phone sleeves, and even their pants. Patented signal blocking technology blocks wireless signals, giving you peace of mind that your data does not end up in the wrong hands. Just place your device inside, close it, and that is all you have to do. You are safeguarded from unauthorized access. Go Silent today. That is at SLNT, Sierra Lima November Tango.com/Sean, SHAWN, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November, to save 15% off and free shipping on qualified orders. Silent, SLNT.com/Sean, SHAWN, for 15% off of your entire purchase and free shipping on qualified orders. Again, you have backpacks, you've got phone sleeves, you've got the phone cases, you've got pants, folks. Faraday clothing to make sure that you're not getting hit with any of that harmful radiation. That's SLNT.com/Sean, SLNT.com/Sean for 15% off. All right. Gavin Newsom, National Guard. Let's take a trip down memory lane. You see, CFAM 54 Silent, great product. Many SRA use these products. What does SRA stand for? I'll have to get a clarification. But thank you. We do love the obviously if you appreciate our sponsors, we do appreciate that as well. Lori Kidd says, I don't think I've ever heard your Alex Jones impression before. That's because I've never done one. I only really like to do impersonations of people I like because in order to be able to do the impersonation, I have to hear them a lot. And in order to hear them a lot, I have to force myself to watch them. One of the reasons why I didn't like Biden or wasn't good with Biden doing the mumble is because I couldn't just sit there and study it. Pelosi, you just have to sound like somebody who has no teeth, and you rub your wrist a couple times and you say Nancy, right? You say, I'm happy to be back in Washington. Remember that when she was on the plane spitting all over the camera? But I've never been a fan of Alex Jones. I've never consumed his content that regularly. The Sandy Hook thing rubbed me the wrong way. Calling children crisis actors is a problem. So Satanic Ritual Abuse Survivors, SRAs. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it would be people that who had been victims of satanic rituals, and they use the Faraday products to maybe block any sort of, I don't know. But hey, if it works for them, it'll work for you. Silent, SLNT.com. All right, I was hoping for a Pelosi. There you go. A Kit Kat loves my Pelosi, which I think is great. All right, Gavin Newsom, I think this was last week. Remember when he started taking a victory lap and he looked like he was either just got finished crying or just got finished smoking a doobie? Look at Gavin Newsom. This was last week. The courts have ruled in my favor. Donald Trump must relinquish control of the National Guard. Okay, take a look at this.
So I'm very hopeful this order puts that in perspective, and hopefully Donald Trump will immediately back down. The courts have ruled on the Guard. They will be back under my command, and he'll be relieved. Donald Trump will be relieved of his command at noon tomorrow.
Wrong. My bullshit detector is going off. Oh, by the way, I have a new button for all of you guys. I told you that Jason King, the Bongino Army Staff Sergeant, sent me a meme. I was able to work this in. So when we get into the Israel-Iran situation, the new button will be debuting. Gavin Newsom, tomorrow at noon, he acts like he's some high and mighty. Donald Trump will be relieved of his command and will be under my command. Wrong. Not just is he wrong, he's so wrong that within a day, we got a temporary restraining order. Over the weekend, obviously, Donald Trump was to remain in control of the National Guard. We had the preliminary hearing earlier this week from this appeals court, and now the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has issued not just a temporary stay, but a permanent stay of the absurd ruling that Donald Trump had to give the National Guard back, control the National Guard back to Gavin Newsom. As Red State reported, Susie Moore, so many others as well, wasn't just exclusive to Red State. It's probably ruining Gavin Newsom's day. More than the news last week is the news that we got yesterday evening. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has issued its ruling on the Trump administration's motion for a stay pending appeal. The court granted the motion, meaning the National Guard may remain under federal control for the time being. Now, they have stayed the original ruling. In other words, they paused the original ruling that Gavin Newsom was celebrating in the clip that I just played, right? And they have stayed it permanently. And the reason why an appeals court would do this before they make their final ruling is because they believe the appeal will succeed, right? So they don't think they're doing any damage to the process because they believe at the end of the process anyway, Donald Trump is going to be able to remain in control of the National Guard. Again, we'll do a crash course. Title 10 is the statute, the process by which Donald Trump is able to federalize the National Guard if he deems one of these three things, or all of these three things may be happening. One, an armed insurrection. The first is an actual invasion, meaning of a foreign force, not what we refer to the border. You're talking about armed military invasion of our country. We can talk about the border as if it's an invasion, and I agree with you, but legally it does not meet the threshold that would be necessary to use Title 10. So just understand the distinction between the legal interpretation of the term and how we refer to the term invasion, right? So that's not what's going on in California from a legal standpoint, okay? From a practical standpoint, I'm with you. From a legal standpoint, no. Number two, rebellion, insurrection. Again, they're talking about an actual armed rebellion inside the country. That's not necessarily what was going on in California. But number three in Title 10 was when regular forces or resources cannot execute federal law, it is within the president's authority to federalize the National Guard in order to assist. Now, what can the National Guard do under Title 10? They don't become cops. They don't become deputized. They can't perform law enforcement activities outside of self-defense and protecting federal property, federal buildings, and federal assets, right? So Title 10 does not override posse comitatus, the United States military, because once the National Guard is federalized under Title 10, they become a de facto part of the United States military at that point. They have to abide by posse comitatus. United States military cannot perform law enforcement activities on U.S. soil unless the Insurrection Act has been invoked, which it has not been invoked, right? So what they are allowed to do is they are allowed to secure federal property, secure federal buildings, and secure federal assets, right? If somebody comes up to the National Guard and swings at them, they are allowed to detain that person. If somebody trespasses on federal property that the National Guard has been tasked with securing, they are allowed to detain that person. But they may not assist in breaking up a riot. They are there for defense only. Donald Trump did not deploy the National Guard to go out to Los Angeles and play offense. He deployed them to Los Angeles to play defense, which gives the state police, the local police, the county police the flexibility. They can now walk away from those federal buildings, your Social Security offices, your VA, your courthouses, your post offices, those federal buildings. They don't have to secure those anymore. The feds will do that, right? Now those police officers can go out into those crowds and start breaking up the riots because they have the flexibility and the manpower to do so. They're not spread thin, having to guard federal buildings and clean up the riots at the same time. There was never a question that Donald Trump could do this. We went through cases here. Arkansas with the federalizing of the National Guard to uphold Brown versus the Board of Ed, right? The integration, the desegregation of public schools. Even further back was Martin versus Mott in 1827. This was a case that was heard by the Supreme Court. 1827, folks, way back. And one of the hallmark cases that continues to give Donald Trump and the office of the president the authority to federalize the National Guard if those criteria that are set forth in Title 10 are met. Okay, so 1827, again, Martin versus Mott. It's one of the foundational Supreme Court rulings on presidential authority to federalize state militias, which we now call the National Guard. Okay, during the War of 1812, again, President James Madison called up state militias under the Militia Act of 1795 to defend against British forces. Jacob Mott, who was a member of the New York militia, refused to report for duty. He claimed that being forced to report was unconstitutional. The federal call-up was unconstitutional. The Supreme Court in 1827 ruled unanimously against Jacob Mott and upheld the president's authority to determine when a militia call-up is necessary. The president has sole discretion to decide if, quote, an invasion or insurrection exists that justifies activating the militia. This decision is, quote, conclusive upon all other persons, meaning neither courts nor states can second-guess the decision. The Militia Act of 1795 gave the president this broad discretion, and the judiciary had no power to review it. Martin versus Mott is one of the hallmark decisions by the Supreme Court that is cited to support the idea that the president's power to federalize the National Guard is nearly absolute in cases of rebellion or national emergency. And the case in Los Angeles, it was clear as day. We had gone through the timeline. Even left-wing media outlets had shown you and had reported on the timeline. June 6th, things got out of control. That was a Friday. June 7th, throughout the day on a Saturday, police were getting pinned under overpasses. Rocks were being thrown. Cars were being lit on fire. Streets were being taken over. Property was being destroyed. It was a riot. It was a riot on Saturday, June 7th. It was not until the evening hours of Saturday, June the 7th, that Donald Trump thought about and pondered and spoke about federalizing the National Guard to assist law enforcement. It wasn't until Sunday, June 8th, that the National Guard started to arrive there, right? So when you look at the timeline, yes, it showed that according to Title 10 and the third piece of criteria, federal forces, federal resources could not execute federal law. Donald Trump determined, which is well within his authority, he was able to determine that he needed to call up the National Guard. He did so. Obviously, a hack judge, a Clinton judge, ruled in favor of Gavin Newsom, and it was very, very quickly overturned. Judge Charles Breyer issued a temporary restraining order ordering the return of the National Guard to Gavin Newsom and the state. Within hours of that ruling, a 3-judge panel at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issued an administrative or a temporary stay in response to the administration's appeal. Oral argument was heard before the Ninth Circuit on Tuesday, and now they have permanently stayed the district court's temporary restraining order pending the ruling on the Trump administration's appeal. In doing so, the court said the following: we now grant the stay. Defendants have made the required strong showing that they are likely to succeed on the merits of their appeal. Okay? They are likely to succeed on the merits of their appeal. Folks, done. Over. It's over. They're saying at the end of this process, there won't be a need for a stay anymore. The reason why they put the stay in place is because they are comfortable. They feel comfortable enough saying, well, this isn't going to interfere in the process. If they thought Trump's administration, the Trump administration's appeal would fail, they wouldn't have issued the stay, is what I'm saying. They're basically saying by issuing the stay now, we're not really going to be changing the result. Period. Okay. Affording the president that deference, we conclude that it is likely that the president lawfully exercised his statutory authority under Section 12406, Criteria 3, which authorizes federalization of the National Guard when, quote, the president is unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. Did we not cite that exact piece of statutory language for weeks? What did I not say this? And I'm not even a lawyer. All you got to do is read, right? That's it. That's it. So the National Guard will not be going under Gavin Newsom's control. And what this also does is sets further precedent that if Donald Trump wants to do this in other states, he can. He can. Okay? Clear as day. Clear as day. Big loss for Gavin. I don't even want to know what he feels like right now. I don't even want to know what Gavin Newsom, what he's thinking, how he's feeling. I don't even want to know if he's crying. I don't want to be in the same room as him, but I don't really feel bad for him. We told you, as soon as the National Guard was federalized under Title X, we did that digging, that it was that exact piece of language, of statutory language, that third criteria, Title X, Section 124063. If the president is unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States, he can call up the National Guard, federalize the National Guard whenever he wants. That criteria was obviously met. Regular forces, meaning the FBI, if they were on the ground, Customs and Border Patrol, right? ICE, those are all regular federal forces. They were not able to get the situation under control without more assistance. The administration said, it says it clear as day. Our regular forces are not enough. It's not adequate. It's time to send in more forces. Federalize the National Guard, protect those federal buildings, assets, and property. No offense, play defense, allow the police to get their job done. It was clear as day that this was going to be overturned. Clear as day. Clear as day. All right.
Jeremy has breaking news.
What has he got?
Breaking news, Trump appoints special prosecutor to investigate 2020 election.
Trump has appointed a special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election. Do we know the special prosecutor's name?
No, but he's just putting it in the chat.
Okay. I wonder who it's going to be. I wonder who the special prosecutor is going to be. Devin Nunes. No, it's not going to be Devin Nunes. I don't see anything on his Truth Social yet, but I'm sure that when we get his name, Donald Trump will most likely put that up on Truth. That's really cool, to investigate the 2020 election. That's really cool. All right. Now, hopefully it's not some flimsy. I don't think Trump is going to pick a weak person to investigate this. This issue means a lot to Trump.
He said, I think he will announce next week or two.
He'll announce next week or two the name. Okay. Hopefully we get so a special prosecutor. So that's like a special counsel. That's a person with a lot of subpoena power. Okay. Investigating the 2020 election. That can have significant impact on the midterms if you could prove that there was.
He said he's just calling on it now, but will appoint soon.
Okay. He's calling on adding a special prosecutor. Is that what that means?
He's in the chat.
Okay. So he's calling for it. He hasn't appointed it. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, that's good news. It's good to see that there will be an investigation into the 2020 election. That could really impact the midterms, by the way, if they can prove. I hope it's not Matt Gaetz. Matt, you know what? Let me tell you about Matt Gaetz in a second. I hope it's not Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz has lost me. Matt Gaetz has completely and totally lost me, and I'll explain to you. And that guy is lying to everybody right now. And I hate to say it, but I'm happy he didn't become the Attorney General. After everything that has played out with the Israel-Iran thing, no.
Well, what did he do? They don't know.
I will explain after. After we talk about our sponsor, My Patriot Supply. MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. It's MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. Summer blackout season is here. Whether it's a heat wave, a summer storm, maybe it's a tornado, maybe it's a hurricane. I don't know. But I want to tell you. Also, massive 4th of July sale going on right now. Too many people running the AC at once. The fragile grid can't keep up. That is why I want to talk to you about the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator from My Patriot Supply. This thing is an absolute beast. 3,300 watts of off-grid power that'll keep your fridge, your freezer, your lights, even your medical devices running whenever the power grid fails. Right now, they've got a crazy deal going on. When you buy the Grid Doctor 3300, they will throw in 2 waterproof 200-watt solar panels completely free. They are not cheap plastic panels either. They're super durable, waterproof, and built to last through storms, heat, and who knows what else. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. That's mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned for that great deal on the Grid Doctor 3300 and the 2 free solar panels. The time for preparing for summer heatwave season is now. Right? The time for preparing for summer heat wave season is now. Don't get caught with your pants down if the grid fails. The Grid Doctor 3300, you can run it in your home. It's quiet. It is a solar generator, no fumes, no gas, and you can recharge it with those free solar panels. They're military-grade solar panels. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. That's MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. I would suggest getting it. It's the best deal that you will get on that, plus those free panels. All right. Matt Gaetz has completely lost me. He's just making ignorant statements on social media. He's showing you he doesn't know anything about this conflict in the Middle East. First of all, we could talk about a judgment issue that he has when it comes to the quote-unquote allegations, which he has all but admitted to. That's number one. Number two, it was this specific comment that you'll see right here on the screen. If Israel is a democracy, when do all the Arabs who live there get to vote? Okay. Let's break this down, shall we? No, all of the Arabs who live in Israel don't get to vote. Would you like to take a guess in the chat which Arabs in Israel are allowed to vote? Anybody want to take a guess? Anybody in the chat want to take a guess? Which Arabs in Israel have the right to vote? Anybody want to take a guess? Which Arabs in Israel have the right to vote? It's a very easy answer. The answer is not none. The answer is not all of them. There it is. A Great McGroin and Mermaid Mills have it in the chat. Israeli citizens. Arabs who are Israeli citizens can vote in Israeli elections. Don't tell Matt Gaetz. He's too busy clickbaiting right now. Matt Gaetz, who I know believed in the SAVE Act here in the United States. Okay? The SAVE Act. What is the SAVE Act? That you have to prove that you are a U.S. citizen to vote in U.S. elections. But according to Matt Gaetz, if you're an Arab in Israel, you can't vote. There is an Arab that sits on the Knesset, I think on the Israeli Supreme Court. There are Arabs that serve in the Israeli government, but they can't vote, according to Matt Gaetz. I'm very happy that he's not the Attorney General. I'm not the biggest fan of Pam Bondi, but the way Gaetz has been, the way Gaetz has been signaling recently, he's woke right. He's one of these people, Jason King. It's the Jews, right? Chewbacca has entered the house. He's one of these people. Pushing a narrative that makes Israel look bad, and I'm not being Israel's defense attorney. I'm being the defense attorney of the freaking truth, guys. Surely Matt Gaetz is not advocating for non-citizens to participate in another country's election, right? Oh, it actually does look like that's what he's doing. That does look like that's what he's doing. I'm not saying he hasn't been a good ally to Donald Trump. I'm not saying he didn't do great work in Congress. I'm not taking any of that away from him. I'm saying his credibility with me is in the tank, and I don't want him investigating 2020. I don't want him investigating 2020. Somebody else, who I don't know who it might be. Maybe it'll be I don't know. Mike Davis would be a cool choice. It's not going to be Paxton. He's running for Senate in Texas. Chewbacca, yes, there it is. So that's right. And by the way, now when we see people mocking when we get this, right? Look, this is great. This will be a great one to pair it up. Look, Myron Gaines. It's the Jews, right? There it is. I love that meme. I love that little new button. Thank you to Jason King. All right. I want to go through this, the Iran stuff real fast. Obviously, this is what was said yesterday. Oh, sorry. This is what was said yesterday at a press conference. Karoline Leavitt. Pay attention to the language. A lot of people are getting this twisted. Pay attention to the language here from Karoline Leavitt, a direct quote from the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Now, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today. So we'll kick it off for questions here in our new media seat. We have Eli Lake from the Free Press. Eli, go ahead.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Nothing against the Free Press and Eli Lake, but we have a better Eli. Just saying. Okay? We have a better Eli. We have Eli Wan Kenobi. Hello there. He would have said hello there, right, to Karoline Leavitt. Did you hear the language that was being used? Everybody is saying Donald Trump gave Iran a 2-week deadline. No, he didn't. What was the language that was used in that direct quote? Did she say Donald Trump gave Iran a 2-week deadline, or did she say a decision will be made within 2 weeks? She said a decision will be made within 2 weeks. That could mean tomorrow. Now, he may run the clock for 2 weeks. And this may be why. Further comments were made here by Karoline Leavitt at that press briefing regarding what the goal of this administration is in the Israel-Iran conflict. Listen to this.
So the president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it. But he's not afraid to use strength as well, I will add. Francesca.
Thanks, Caroline. What exactly would a deal with Iran need to entail?
No enrichment of a uranium, and it would absolutely not. Iran is absolutely not able to achieve a nuclear weapon. The president has been very clear about that. And by the way, the deal that Special Envoy Witkoff proposed to the Iranians was both realistic and acceptable within its terms, and that's why the president is sent that deal to them.
So he's still trying to chase diplomacy here. Does this sound like George W. Bush to you? This is the worst George Bush ever. This is the worst George Bush ever. All I heard from the woke right, the Haji twins, Alex Jones, Candace, Fuentes, all these people Donald Trump's a warmonger. He's going to cave to the neocons. What? Cave to the neocons? This guy is giving them so much time to come back to the table. Now, I have told you, and I'm not telling you that everything that this outlet says is the gospel going forward, but I've told you I have it on pretty good authority that the leaks to Axios regarding the administration's position on Iran have not just been accurate, but have been strategic. Okay? Yes, I am saying, trust me, bro, right? I'm not going to name people and say who told me. I'm going to say I believe it to be, and I wouldn't be telling you if I didn't think so. I believe it to, because you know how I am with the 5D chess thing too. I don't ever default to that. I believe it to be on good authority, that the leaks to Axios have been strategic in nature. Now you are starting to see the messaging that's coming from the administration line up with what is being reported from this outlet specifically. Trump met with his top national security team in the Situation Room on Thursday, the third such meeting in 3 days. He is seriously considering joining the war, but wants to ensure 3 things are true, according to U.S. officials. This is from Axios. That a military strike is truly necessary. George Bush never cared if it was necessary. That the operation wouldn't drag the United States into a prolonged war in the Middle East. Bush didn't care about that either, as evidenced by Iraq and Afghanistan. And most of all, that it would achieve the goal of destroying Iran's nuclear program. Quote, I have a message directly from the president based on the fact that there is a chance for substantial negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future. I will make my decision on whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That is what Leavitt said. We played that clip for you. On Wednesday, Trump said that Iran still wants to negotiate with the United States, even proposed coming to the White House. He did say that it was getting very late for talks and may soon authorize strikes on Iran's nuclear program. But he's leaving that diplomatic option open. Why? Because he doesn't want to go to war. Now, what is 2 weeks? What is this potential 2-week window going to buy Donald Trump? It's going to buy him time. I believe wholeheartedly that Donald Trump does not want to get involved in this conflict. Not at all. I believe he wants to hear from Israel and Netanyahu that they achieved the full and total denuclearization of Iran. Netanyahu, as of yesterday, said that the change or fall of Iran's leadership was not a goal of Israel's attacks, but could be a result. Now, again, I don't necessarily trust Netanyahu. I view him as a bit of a warmonger as well. Not to say that this is not justified. But there's a reason why a lot of people refer to him as the Dick Cheney of the Middle East, okay? I'm just giving you context. I'm not saying I don't support Israel. I'm not saying I don't want to give them, defensive support. I'm just telling you, like all governments, I don't necessarily trust the head of their government, okay? The matter of changing, this is what Netanyahu said, the matter of changing the regime or the fall of this regime is first and foremost a matter for the Iranian people. There is no substitute for that. That is why I didn't present it as a goal. It could be a result, but it is not a stated or formal goal that we have. Netanyahu said in an interview with Israel's Cannes public television. He said Israel had the power to remove all of Iran's nuclear facilities, whether United States President Donald Trump decides to join in or not. So, as we reported yesterday, before Netanyahu made this statement, the Israelis may not need U.S. support offensively. If they don't need U.S. support offensively, then what we can do, and what Donald Trump, I believe, is doing, is a good cop, bad cop approach. Israel, in terms of Iran, in their lens, is the bad cop. Trump and the United States is the good cop. Why is Israel the bad cop to Iran? Because Israel's the country that's dropping bombs on Iran. Trump is saying we could talk about it. We could talk about it. We could have a tremendous time, right? He's offering a diplomatic solution, a less destructive solution, a less catastrophic solution. But Donald Trump is not coming to the table playing patty cake and fluffing them up. He's saying, no, if we're going to strike a deal, your nuclear program is done. I think Donald Trump gives Israel a little bit more time. to prove how much they can do. If Iran continues to negotiate in bad faith or continues to spin Donald Trump's wheels, I think he authorizes a U.S. strike if Israel can't do it themselves. And at that point in time, after what would probably be, if this lasts another 2 weeks, let's say, after what would probably be almost a month of this conflict, because we've already gotten 1 week, we're now being told it could go another 2 weeks. That's 3 weeks. You're 8 or 9 days away from this being an entire month at this point. At that point, if Donald Trump authorizes a strategic strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, I don't have an issue. As long as that doesn't turn into a forever war, I don't have an issue. All right. I want to get to, and we'll do calls in just a second. Let's get to a word from our friends over at Armra Colostrum, tryarmra.com/LFA TV. That's TRYARMRA.com/LFA TV, tryarmra.com/LFA TV. Folks, colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life. It is something that contains all the nutrients, essential nutrients our bodies need in order to thrive. Now, I'm always on the lookout for life hacks and ways to help my metabolism and my skin and my gut health. Gotta love gut health, right? I eat a lot of tacos. We want a good gut health. That's what Armra Colostrum can do for you, and then some. It can help you reactivate your hair growth, help your skin glow. It can help fortify your gut and ignite your metabolism, and it can fuel your fitness performance and recovery. You can harness the close-guarded secret of elite athletes long prized for its unrivaled ability to take performance to its apex. Colostrum has been shown in research to help enhance nutrient absorption, promote lean muscle building, and improve endurance while fueling cellular repair regeneration for faster recovery. Specifically, colostrum has been shown in research to improve fitness endurance by 20%, decrease recovery time by over 50% after intense exercise, improve stamina, and specifically build lean muscle mass. Go to tryarmra.com/LFA TV for 15% off of your first order. That is TRYARMRA.com/LFA TV. Try TRYARMRA.com/LFA TV for 15% off of your first order. TryArmra.com/LFA TV for 15% off of your first order. Next up is the LFA TV store as we wait for your calls to come in. LFATV.us, LFATV.us. Folks, go to the LFA TV store. Check them out. Click on the LFA TV store tab. Birthday girl Barb. Her mugs are one of the best and most hottest selling items on the LFA TV store, especially when you pair them up with some Rise Up coffee. And now you have a 20% off discount, a sale, a promotion on the website until June 30th. Right here at LFATV.us, of course. That's at LFATV.us. Click on the store tab. Click on visit the store. You see the mugs. You see the shirts. All that there is to offer. LFATV.us or JeremyHerrell.com/store. 631-527-4545 for anything that is on your mind. 631-527-4545. We've got a call coming in. We are trying to connect it right now. As you know, it takes a minute or two to connect. That one did. Oh, it is connected. We have Heather from Kansas City. What's going on, Heather?
Not much. How are you all?
We're doing okay. How are you?
Very good. Ready for the big heat wave coming up this weekend and next week. So we'll be at 94, 95 degrees, I think. So
yeah, we're going to be. It's going to be hot here too. It's going to be very hot.
Oh, well, I want to tell you all. I texted Brenda this. I told her that we are about 40 minutes away from Knob Noster, where Whiteman Air Force Base is.
Okay.
So if we hear any of those stealths going or the B-2 bombers going, usually we hear it about a couple minutes after it passes. So we'll hear it.
Okay.
So because we've heard it when they do flyovers and things, but they're the coolest looking things ever.
They are pretty cool. You know, I was actually able, and I probably can still do this. I can make a paper airplane that looks like the B-2, and when you throw it, if you throw it like, you got to keep that wrist nice and steady, and it's like darts. But if you throw it, and I cut little wing flaps into it too, and I put the tips, you could really make it glides like it's just like a boat on. Oh, it's like on still water.
Oh, you gotta do a video on that now.
I will have to do. I'll have to make one. I'll have to make one. It's so cool, and I make little wing flaps because if it's lopsided and not full, I can make the little flaps, and it's like it balances it out, and it just it's so the cats will probably jump up and snatch it out of the air though. Yeah. But it'll be really funny.
they had this video of the Beach Boys Barbara Ann song, and they had
Bomb, 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 Iran.
Bomb, Iran.
Yes. That's Lindsey Graham. He wrote that song. Bomb, 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 Iran. Yes, thank you, Heather. We appreciate that. You have a great weekend. Good luck in the heat.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
All righty. Thank you. Heather from Kansas City, the great Heather from Kansas City, Taylor Swift's biggest fan. I have to say that when she's off the phone or else she gets mad at me. And I'm only kidding. 110 in South Carolina on Tuesday. All right. Maybe climate change is real. I'm kidding. All right. 631-527-4545. Here we go. Oh, I know who this is. I think I know who this is. Pretty sure I know who this is. It's somebody who you are all very, very familiar with. It is Dylan, I believe, from Iowa. What's up, Dylan?
What's up, Sean?
It is Dylan from Iowa. One time I got you confused with Chris Green because you were calling from the same area code. And I was like, Dylan from Iowa. He was like, it's Chris Green. I was like, oh, okay. Well, it's Chris from Iowa. What's up, Dylan? How you doing?
Oh, nothing, Sean. Just very busy, working my 2 jobs and playing my deck hockey as well.
Working
as
2
my
jobs.
campaign stuff
You're
set up.
working
Yep.
2 jobs. Unbelievable.
Yep. I work more. I've officially worked more jobs than Bernie Sanders, not on a government salary.
That's a good one.
So, yeah.
By the way, the first day you worked 2 jobs, you officially worked longer than Congress has this year. So.
And I have officially worked longer than Kamala Harris at a job, right? Right? Not a government
Except
job.
one job in particular, she worked very long, but we're not going to go there. I got a question. Actually, I saw some really cool news about you on Instagram. Yeah. You just got endorsed by a former state representative in Iowa, didn't you?
I did. She was the former state representative of the district that I'm running for, and she is a very popular woman in the district, and a lot of people love her. She was a very great representative. She only served 1 term, Sean, but she is the reason why the district is actually more tipped Republicans now. When she ran, she was outnumbered by 1,000 Democrats.
Wow.
By 7 votes.
So she came out, she endorsed you. You are running for state representative. Would you, if you win, okay, and we're going to do an interview on this. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do it, but Dylan's going to come on for everybody listening, and he's going to tell us all about what he wants to do. But just a teaser for, if you win, would you be the youngest state representative in Iowa history?
No, because I'd be one of the youngest. Like,
okay.
We had so there's 2 state representatives that are young in the or that are, I guess, considered young in the Iowa legislature now. But my friend Carter Norman, who got elected in 2022 or 2020 or something like that, he was 21. And then my friend Blaine Watkins, who is the representative from the 100th district, which is in like Port Madison, Iowa, or something like that. Like he's about 22, 23.
Okay.
So,
but you know what?
But still getting elected to office at 21 years old is really unheard of.
Oh, it's remarkable. Days. And just taking the initiative to run, Dylan, is remarkable. So I can't wait to talk about this with you further, but I was really excited to see that news. You posted the endorsement, I believe, on your social media. And that's significant. A former state rep saying, vote for this guy. So that's awesome. Congratulations on that. And we'll definitely talk more about it. I'm trying to figure out the best way, easiest way to do these new guests now that Skype is dead. I think I've got it figured out, but I'll do a little more testing this weekend, and I'll let you know.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it, and there's more to come. So thank you for letting me talk to you today.
Heck yeah. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks for calling in. Keep up the great work. Dylan from Iowa, endorsed by the former state representative in his district. Come on. How many 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds do you know that aren't thinking about going out drinking every night and instead are thinking about not only does he play hockey, not only is he working 1 job, he's got 2 jobs, and he's running for a state office. That's pretty impressive. I'll say that. I don't know many other 21-year-olds that would do that. All right, I have another call that is attempting to connect here. It is connected. Who do we have on the line?
This is Linda B. Salon.
Linda B. Salon, how are you?
D as in dog.
D as in dog.
Yeah.
Sorry. How are you,
Yeah.
Linda?
I'm good. This whole Iran thing, I just feel like it should become a huge crater and just turn it into a big, beautiful lake. I feel like all those people could really use the water.
Well, I'll say this. The regime in Iran is evil. I've gotten some messages from Iranians. I've gotten messages on X from Israelis. I mean, at least they claim to be. The Iranian people don't, I'm not saying all of them don't, but a lot of them don't appreciate the regime right now. And I would hate to...
Well, they can just move on, They could just kind of relocate. Give them a heads up and let them relocate.
Yeah, I you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, that might be what has to... I'm not saying nuke, but at the end of the day, that might be what has to happen. Strikes on the facility. Donald Trump cares about life. I don't think he wants to take anybody's life. I really do. I don't think he wants to do that. I think he wants to try and make the deal. And I respect that. But I also understand the other side where like these, Iran is a loose cannon. And how can we trust anything that they're saying? And you know what? There's a way to make sure that there's definitely no nuclear program. So I hear that.
Yeah, well, I thought the water would come in handy for everybody else as well,
Yeah, well, you know what? They may need it. It may be a little radioactive. They may grow they may grow a fourth head. But, but that's
all
okay.
the evil leaders in there and just let them, hold down the bottom of the lake.
Well, you know what? It's not the worst idea. I'd say it's not the worst idea. And I do appreciate your passion. Well, Linda, thank you for the call. I hope you have a great weekend, okay?
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Linda D. Salon from the live chat. I love Fridays, phone call Fridays. They are so much fun. We have a little bit of time left. If we get a call in next, I would say 30 seconds, we could do a quick lightning round. Lightning call. If not, we'll be wrapping up. Jeremy Harrell is coming up next. Hey, I do have a little bit of funny news. Did you guys happen to? First of all, here's some good news. The illegal immigrant population is down by 1 million illegals in Trump's first 5 months, so that's pretty cool. I would say that's encouraging news in terms of getting them out. 1 million in, let's just call it 6 months, is a pace of 8 million over the course of 4 years, right? So that's not bad. We definitely need to do better. We do have one more coming in. This is going to have to be super quick because we're going to have to run. But we are connecting here. All right, we have about 20 seconds. Who's on the line and what's on your mind? Hello, Lynn Murkowski.
For the kids.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry. Tell us one more time who it was. You were muted that first time.
It's L.M. Burkowski in the chat.
Okay, thank you so much. And what was your message?
I just want to tell Brennan and Sean congratulations on the big win down there for the kids in Tennessee.
All right, thank you so much, Lynn. It's great talking to you. And thanks for the call. And absolutely, we're very excited about that win for the kids. Thank you.
You bet.
All righty. Unfortunately, I realized at the end of it was muted there, so we got it back. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening. We appreciate you all. As always, I hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe in the heat. Drink a lot of water. Remember, as I was always told when I went to these summer camps, a hydrated person is a happy person. A dehydrated person is a dead person, and dead people have no fun. So let's make sure that we stay hydrated, stay safe in the heat if you're going to be out there in that crazy heat. Jeremy Harrell is coming up next with Live for America, I'm sure, with a little more information on that breaking news that he delivered in the chat. Donald Trump appointing a special counsel or moving to appoint a special counsel to investigate the 2020 election. Obviously, very welcome news. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Happy birthday, Barb Naylor. As our great president would say, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never, ever surrender. And if all else fails, we will just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a happy, healthy, and safe weekend. In the words of John Fetterman, bang gavel. Good night, everybody. We'll see you back here again on LFA TV on Monday.